Welcome back to Such Plants. So today, or actually tonight, as you can see, it's not daytime, I'm going to be potting up my Hoya. Can I get a Hoya? My Hoya Pubicalyx, because I've been trying to root this for about a month now. As you can see, it's been rooting up nicely. Oh, don't look at this guy. This is a marble queen pothos I'm trying to propagate, but nothing seems to be happening. But as you can see on the two Hoya cuttings here, there's a ton of roots. So this cutting actually came from my friend's grandma, and I was told that she had the plant for, I don't know, I want to say 10 years or so, and it was just living by the sink indoors, and it's just been growing like crazy, I guess. But I think that passed on to this cutting here. You should start cuttings with a healthy plant. If the cutting that you take from the plant is like not as healthy, you will have issues trying to root it. So always take a cutting from a healthy plant for the highest success rate. So I'm going to be potting this up in a 4-inch terracotta pot and potting it into a very chunky soil mix, which I'll be showing you how I do that in a few seconds. But I hear that Hoyas really like well-draining soil, and not just that, but also rich in nutrients, because where these tend to grow in nature, there's a lot of debris that falls from above, and that's what these plants actually feed off of, is this organic material that just falls. So yeah, let's get to potting, shall we? Hoyas like to dry out in between waterings, so this is why I'm using a terracotta, because I don't want to be overwatering these guys or letting them sit in moist soil for too long. So terracotta pots for me dry out very quickly. So if you consider yourself to be an overwaterer, I highly recommend terracotta pots. Alright, so here we have some regular potting soil with a little bit of perlite mixed into it already. I'm adding a little bit extra perlite. Here we have some succulent cactus mix for the extra drainage, some orchid bark, horticultural charcoal, and worm castings. So I'm gonna go ahead and give this a mix, and we'll see how chunky it is. So a good way to test the chunky factor is by really just clumping it in your hand and squeezing hard and see how much actually clumps up. And as you can see, it doesn't clump up at all. That's how you know it's really chunky. So I think this is actually a good mix. Alright, so now I need to extract the cutting from this propagation station. You might have noticed, but this is not the most ideal or practical of propagation stations, and I'll show you why. The shape of this glass is really cool looking, but when you have a cutting in here that produces roots, and in this case, this is a really good example, you'll see how the roots tend to grow sporadically in all directions. But when it comes time to actually take this out of the glass, you're only really limited to this opening. So we're gonna hope for the best here, and if it really comes down to it, I might have to break the glass. Oh, okay. Well, I guess that wasn't bad at all. The roots are very tender. For some reason in the glass they look a little bit thicker, but I guess that's because of the shape of the glass. That was really smooth too. I was actually nervous with this one because the root kind of grew out 90 degrees to the stem. So I thought I was going to have a really hard time, but that was pretty easy. Cool. So if we look closely at this one, you can see that there's a tiny new growth about to come out. It's peeking through right here. But if you look at this one, it's pretty cool. There's like 2 individual leaves coming out. Now is the easy part. We're just gonna put this into the terracotta pot. She's done. I'm gonna take this to the sink to water it and just clean off the soil from the leaves. But you can kind of see how I have it kind of draping over to one side of the pot. And I think that's gonna look good if it grows and continues to grow in that direction. Alright, so here we have finished baby. Pretty excited now that this is finally in a pot. I can put something else in my propagation station. I'm also quite happy that I didn't need to break the glass. So good vibes all around. Before I let you guys go, I want to share some updates with a couple of propagations that I've done, and they are the baby monstera that I did a video on, and also the variegated syngonium that I also did a video on. Here we have the baby monstera. So I started this propagation about a week ago, and we already see some root development. So these are all top cuttings. Each cutting in here is doing really good. I have this sitting on the shelf behind me, and it does have a little bit of diffused direct sunlight. And it's been growing quite well. I heard that roots tend to grow faster if they're grown in a dark environment, but that's kind of a controversial topic. I know that some people have seen a lot of growth with the roots exposed to direct sunlight, but for now, this is just sitting just the way it is, and it does see some sunlight, and as you can see, it's still growing. But maybe in my next propagation, I'll try to do the dark method and see how fast that grows. But yeah, that's the progress with this baby Monstera deliciosa. Here's the Syngonium albo. It's been sitting in water for about 2 weeks, or a little over 2 weeks now. And you can see that there's been quite a bit of root growth already. Here is the top cutting, and the newest leaf has already started to come out, as you can see. And this has the biggest roots, I think. So each cutting has a lot of aerial roots. This cutting here has the smallest root development. It has teeny tiny roots right there, so cute. There's 5 cuttings in here, and each one has root development. So that's exciting. I'll probably keep it in here for another couple of weeks until roots are at least 3 to 4 inches in length, and then they'll be ready to either be potted up in soil, or if you follow me on Instagram, I'm going to be doing a giveaway announcement for a couple of these guys real soon. So if you're watching this video and you want a cutting, take advantage of that while I have a small following. But that might change, we'll see. So I almost forgot to show this one. This is the propagation that I've experimented with from that Monstera. And these are the leftover nodes that I placed in this little tray of soil. And as you can see, there hasn't been a lot of progress, if at all. If we look closer, there's one that completely rotted away. And I don't think any of these are gonna survive. So I might just end up tossing them. But we'll leave it in there until they all completely die, which is probably inevitable. But that's what I expected anyway, so I'm not too bummed out. But yeah, sad, but this was kind of expected. Let me know in the comments if you want to see a giveaway on these guys or not. Well, back to the main star of the show, this Hoya Pubicalyx. If you enjoyed watching, please drop a like, leave a comment, and anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!